Howdy everyone, it's Sam Revel. I hope you're doing really well. If you're new around these parts, I hope I can get you to consider liking the content and subscribing to the channel by the end of the video. And if you are a regular around these here parts, thank you so much for the continuous support. This video is just a relaxed recap of some of the news that I haven't spoken about over the past couple of months in regards exclusively to the North Queensland Cowboys. And before I get into the news, I just want to go into the regulars saloon. That is the live chat, and that's Warriors NRL Fanatics. G'day, sir. How are ya? Rugby League Roundup. How are ya? This is Jimmy. Jimmy, hey man, it's good to see you. Thank you very much for coming in. And who we got here? We got Jason Reader. Hi there, mate. How are ya? So once again, thank you so much for the continuous support. What I want to do tonight is highlight the signings that we've made that I haven't spoken about yet. And in order to do that, I need to add this to my stream. Now, the most recent news that came about approximately 24 to 48 hours ago was that Mr. John Asiata, as you can see there on the left-hand side of me, is vehement against getting the COVID vaccine. He has been quoted in saying that he would rather take up a position in a construction job instead of being a full-time rugby league player. And John Asiata is only 28 years of age, and he's only on a one-year contract with the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. And as a premiership Cowboy player, John Asiata, he was one of my favourites, and it was such a shame. It was so sad to see him go. He should never have left Townsville. That's my honest opinion. And for John Asiata to now say that he'd rather not play rugby league full time instead of getting the COVID jab, it's a massive shame. But I think if he does go, he finished his career with a premiership, 2 grand final appearances, a World Club Challenge, and a couple of Nines trophies to go along with it. So for what he did at the Cowboys, I mean, if he really doesn't want to, or if he is that afraid of the reactions he might cop from getting the COVID jab, then, I mean, it's sort of like adios and sayonara, and thank you very much for all that you've done. So that's just something I wanted to talk about as far as my first piece of news goes. And what I'm going to do here is I want to talk about some really positive news, actually, and that comes in the form of Te Martin. Now, this bloke, for those who are unaware, Te Martin had a brain bleed in mid-2019, and he had to medically retire because of said brain bleed. And he's only spent a year, maybe 2 years now, working away in New Zealand. And the Brisbane Broncos have called up Te Martin and have said, we're going to put you on a train and trial deal. And for Te Martin, that shows a lot of strength and a lot of character. He was a vital piece to the puzzle of the Cowboys getting into the 2017 grand final. He scored a try in said grand final. It was just something different that caught a lot of teams off guard, in my opinion, with his signing coming up from Penrith. And I just want to say cheerio and all the absolute best to Te Martin for getting up a contract. It's just awesome, and I think that's just a real positive piece of news I really wanted to shed light on. And I just want to go back into the chat. G'day, Rob, and we'll get to that comment in a second. And once more, this is just a recap of all North Queensland related news that has come out over the past month or so. And this is what I'm about to get into now, is the crux of why I want to do this, because there are 5 young men who have been signed up to the Cowboys, and not enough mention has been made of them, or I'd like to shine a spotlight on them, sort of thing. And where I'd like to go to now is talk about a gentleman named Tyrese Woods. And if I were to go to the team list page, you would probably see Tyrese Woods' name at the bottom of the list because of how fresh of a signing he actually is. And the highlights of this young man is very, very promising. He hails from Rockhampton. Don't know why Rockhampton aren't getting a game of rugby league in 2022 as well, just quietly, but that's for a different topic, different conversation, different day. Young Tyrese Woods, I just want to play some highlights of the young man playing first grade. So that's him in the fullback position. And that's what we've got signed up on a development contract. And I want to show you this strength here. I think that's tremendous tenacity and strength to fight for those post-contact meters. And he's going to be blaring. There he is. He's got the ball there. And he looks on the inside the entire break. And then he throws a cutout pass, a no-look cutout pass. I can see why a lot of people have some good raps on young Tyrese Woods, and this video shouldn't go for too much longer. So I'm very excited by what this young man could bring to the North Queensland Cowboys. I'm just going to cut off your vision there. And the next gentleman that I'd like to show you, who hails from Toowoomba, his name is Jordan Lip. And I've heard of this bloke all bloody year, and for good bloody reason too, just quietly, lads and ladies, if you're watching. I'll just put that one on mute because I don't want to blast your ears off. But these are highlights of young Jordan Lip, whereas Tyrese Woods was a fullback, this gentleman here is definitely a centre. And what I like about him is that he seems to have a low centre of gravity. And just while I'm watching this, I'd like to go back into the chat. G'day, Andrew Mudgeway. Hello, sir. Hope you're doing well. Bravo. Yeah, so I'm just going through the chat, looking at the comments and seeing what Jordan Lip is all about as well. Jordan Lip I think he's only 20 years of age, so he's only a young fella as well. And I want to highlight these players because they could make a debut and someone would say, where did he come from? Who's he? Well, I'm here to pump up their tires and tell you and show you that this is Jordan Lip, and he'd look really good in a Cowboys jersey making a break like that. That's just how I feel anyway. Great hands, great anticipation, I should say. And then he gets the offload to old mate on the inside there. I really like the look of Jordan Lip. He still obviously needs to grow into his body or forge his own bloody path, but that's a great finish there if that was Jordan Lip. But if he was the guy that offloaded it to his mate, yes, he does look like a gum for sure. We've got a gentleman, Robert. You know Lippy well. Oh, that's amazing, man. That's amazing. I hope you got a good story or two to tell about Mr. Jordan Lip, and not that it would probably matter all that much, but tell him that Sam Revel thinks you look like a bit of a bloody gun.
So Dan, first of all, welcome back to North Queensland. I understand you've already have a pretty strong connection with the area.
Yeah, bastard. So that's 2 out of the 5 done. If you notice from the thumbnail, that's 2 out of the 5 young men that I wanted to highlight. And the next 3 men all hail from Fiji. And these signings came in the month midway through September. And I want to commend the Cowboys for thinking outside the box a little bit. I probably would have been doing this for years already, but they seem to have infiltrated Fiji and have impressed upon them to come down to Townsville, where it's not too much of a flight back home and away from home as well. And what I'm going to do is connect, Tyrese Woods and Jordan Lipp, very good players. Hopefully. And yes, I was right about Jordan Lipp's birth. He was 20 and he's 21 next year. So he's hoping for a great bloody year for Mr. Jordan Lipp. Around Origin time, he could find himself making a debut for North Queensland. And I'm just going to share this screen now. And if you can't tell, I'm using the drag pad, the thumb pad. So the gentleman here, Taniela Tupou, whilst he wasn't selected to be a part of Fijian Sevens rugby Olympics team to play, he definitely tried out for it, and he would have met a couple of the following players. And these are some of the highlights here from Taniela Tupou. So he's the gentleman that catches it out here on the edge, and look at that massive bump. That's an enormous bump from the young bloke. I just want to replay that again, if I may, please. Catches a massive floater and says, "Get the hell out of my way." That's so good. And what's been indicated in the papers is young Taniela Tupou, who's 23 years of age, will be training with the first grade squad with the likes of Jason Taumalolo, for example, and he'll be training in the forwards. So whilst you saw that vision there of him catching the ball as a centre winger, he's actually going to be training in the forward pack. So watch this space. He's going to get a lot bigger as well. And yes, Mr. Rugby League Roundup, he does look like a bloody beast and someone that wouldn't look out of place in a North Queensland jersey. And I'll just want to play you guys one more piece of footage, and I hope it doesn't blow your bloody ears off. Just let that load up for a tick. So I think that's the gentleman there that just passed it from the scrum. And yeah, rugby and rugby league are obviously different games, and he'll have to learn the tricks of the trade and pick it up pretty quickly. But he's surrounded himself with Olympic gold medalists for the past 18 months or so, striving to win gold. And that's exactly what the Fijian Rugby Sevens team did this year. They won the gold medal, and they've been sort of a dynasty for approximately 4 or so years now, the Fijian Rugby Sevens team. And whilst this gentleman didn't play in the grand final, he still received a medal. And the gentleman I want to make mention of now is Isfo Marci. Now I'll just play you a quick minute, and that's him there. That's the gentleman there. And he's a tall, lanky thing, and he's also been potted to be an exceptional winger. Speed and skill is what I've heard about this bloke. And that's great explosive power out from the ruck to barge over from approximately 10 metres out. Good on you, young man. I'll see if I can't make this a bit faster. Nice try. Supporting on the inside. Now, where's the young man here? Oh, well, his mate did all the work there, didn't he? His mate did all the work there. Someone just got knocked out by the looks of things. So I think they just highlighted some defense from him. And no, there he is again. Is that him streaking away, is it? Holy moly. If that's him streaking away like that, like a bloody gazelle, holy mackerel. Look at him bloody go. So yeah, that was Isfo Marci, who did win a gold medal and has been surrounded in the dynasty that has been the Fijian Rugby Sevens for the past 4 or more years now. And there's one other gentleman that I'd like to highlight, and this is the last guy that I'd like to highlight as well. His name is Tomasi Taukeiaho, and this guy has had some rugby experience, but what he's actually known for, and I'll get his face up here in a tick, there he is, young Taukeiaho, is actually known for going just a little bit under 11 seconds in a 100-meter sprint, and that makes him an elite athlete. And for those that don't know what that may look like, I'll just bring up a quick video of the greatest sprinter of all time, Usain Bolt. And whilst he does need a little bit of seconds to be cut off, this is essentially what 100 meters in 10 seconds looks like. This is one of the greatest races of all time, and Usain Bolt gets that done in under 10 seconds. He actually smashes that, or he did smash that, didn't he? I'll just go back into the chat. Yes, he does look like a good young talent. Rob Morley, I think if one of our centres gets injured, Lip will get called up. Going on form of knowing him well, he played junior football at the same team Darren Lockyer played for. That's really cool. That's really interesting. Rugby league, that is speed. I think you were talking about Mr. Isfo Marci, and or maybe you were talking about the sprint that you guys just saw just then. But yeah, so this gentleman, Tomasi Taukeiaho, he has been signed to not train with the first grade Cowboys squad. He's actually been selected to train with the under-20s group. So that's because he hasn't played as much rugby as the other pair have. And I mean, that's great. Give him some time, and if he can build up the strength and the resistance to getting smacked every bloody week sort of thing, then definitely all for it. And these players from Fiji, they are going to be coming into Townsville. They're going to be staying there all year. And Jonathan Thurston and Matt Scott are going to be floating around the roster, the team, every second day, every other day of the week. That's going to be so exciting for these young men, not just the gentlemen from Fiji, but young Tyrese Woods and Jordan Lip as well. And for Jonathan Thurston to come back to the club and say, no thanks to the Queensland Maroons, a coaching role, I assume that's great steps. But it also, for me, it feels like that, right, Jonathan Thurston's been called up to come back. Matt Scott's been called in as a leadership group mentor. So he'll be in less than Jonathan Thurston. But Matt Scott's presence, even though he'll be in less than Jonathan Thurston, Matt Scott's presence will still be just as awesome upon arrival. And it just feels like that I think Cowboys are going to put the responsibility and accountability back onto the players this year. And that should hold a great positive challenge for the young men that I've just mentioned. But for the first graders who've got JT and Matt Scott and Dan Young, Todd Payton, overwatching him now, if it's a good game plan, I feel like it's really the onus is on the players now. You've got all the good assistant coaches. We've gone through 1 year of hell, and let's try and smooth things out. And if it doesn't work, well, I've got two of the greatest Cowboys of all time in mentor and assistant coaching roles to come in and talk to me about what's gone wrong. And because Cowboys have been a perennial bottom four club for 4 years now, and potentially coming on 5. So I do like that Jonathan Thurston and Matt Scott are back mentoring, but it also feels like, is it a little bit desperate, or is this more of a positive mood and move? And I think it's a little bit of both. So that's all I wanted to say and do is just catch up on all the news that I haven't reported on for the North Queensland Cowboys and talk to you guys and see what you guys might have to say. Yes, Isfo, yeah. And yeah, I just wanted to come in and put this all down in my bloody diary as well. And if I may make special mention as well, I've ordered myself some Cowboys merch for 2022, and what I'm wearing here is the official Cowboys merch for 2022. So how good. Guys, I didn't want to go for too long for this. I hope this shone a light on the young players that we've got up there in North Queensland, and hopefully all of them make their first grade debut next year. And actually, just off the top of my head, young Taniela Tupou and Isfo Marci, they will be available for selection from round 10 of 2022. So he's hoping for them and the rest of the young lot. So thank you so much to the regulars for the continuous support. If you're new around here, I hope I've convinced you to like the content and subscribe to the channel. And thank you once more for tuning in, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Take care.